Aloha class. I am currently in Yuma, Arizona, sitting in a hotel room, getting ready to go watch the football games. I am not in class, as you can tell. Actually, not this week. By the time you guys start watching this, I should be almost to Hawaii, and then on to Wake. I will not be that long in this one this week. I promise you that. It'll be nice, down and dirty, quick. Um, So let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is our threads. I won't read Kyle's thread, but he had an absolute fantastic thread. And then I asked a question. Let me move this down. I said I completely agree with what you said, Kyle, but how do you see the playing out of the third world countries that do not have access to the internet like we do? Are you going to be further behind are they going to be further behind while we get further ahead? And then Mr. South threw this question on the rest of the class. Do you know of any programs that are out there designed to help third world countries not fall behind? If so, do you know how effective they have been? So I did some research on this, and this is what I came up with. There's not much going on right now for third world countries as far as college educations go, getting them the internet that they need, and the furthering of the education like we know it today. Our hybrid classes, our online classes, they have problems just getting a school going. All the research I've came up with, and I'll show you a couple websites here in a second. They all talk about kind of the same thing: is building the classroom. Not putting too much technology in the classroom. They're just worried about building classrooms. So it's an actual bigger problem than I thought. Oh, I just got a message from my son. Anyways, uh, technology, there you go. I'm not in a third world country. So they're starting with the foundation, which is get the kids taught, get them in the classroom, let's teach them. That's where I see the real crisis as being on my research that I've done. So this is one. Build On is a website. I went and looked and kind of cruised through this thing, just looking for some information about online programs for these kids, but they don't even have internet. I mean, they're lucky to have electricity. So it's a lot worse than I thought. So once again, I'm a little bit further in my bubble than I was. Here's another one. Education in the Developing World. Kind of the same thing. Organizations to help the younger kids. Nice little map here. But they're more or less concentrating on the younger kids, not so much the college. I didn't do hours and hours and hours of research on this, but a couple hours worth of research and reading and stuff. Like I said, it's just apparent that maybe us asking the question that are we getting further ahead while they're getting further behind? Maybe that's not the real question. Maybe the real question is how are they trying to catch up to any inkling to where we are now? So, in a nutshell, to answer that question, are we getting further ahead while they're getting further behind? Yeah, I believe that we are getting further ahead and they're getting further behind. We're talking about, we have the luxury of this class, which is a hybrid class. We come here one day out of the week and do the rest online. Plenty of interaction between everything going on. I'm right now in Yuma, headed to Hawaii, and I'm doing a vlog you guys are going to be watching. They have none of these tools. I'm not saying there's third world countries out there that have absolutely no tools, but for the most part, these developing countries that we consider the third world countries are kind of that far behind. You have your other third world countries that have their cell phones and everything like that, but we're talking third world countries that really, let's go back to that map real quick, are really in a hurting status. So this is just enrollment for younger kids, showing in the map. And what we're looking at, the big one is the gray areas. Uh, much of Africa, uh, Russia. This is all which we wouldn't even consider Russia a third world country. But this is all 30 to 79% enrollment. And then you got no data down here, which is, even America's no data. So I'm not sure why that is. But so yeah, it's bad. So I think that kind of answered the question for me. And I'm actually going to look into this further and stuff. So we'll go back here. So what I'm going to do this week is for you guys and kind of for myself. So I should be in Wake hopefully by the end of the week. As I talked about before, and if anybody's been there, Wake, they do have internet, AOL, billeting there, which you guys will get to see because I'm going to try to film some of this stuff. Billeting there, which is not a 5-star hotel on a beautiful island, has one computer, maybe two. It's an AOL dial-up connection kind of thing. That's as far as, like 100 people that are staying in the building. That's all they have. There's no cell phone, no nothing like this. If we need to talk to somebody, we either have to go to base ops. They have a phone to the outside, or we use sat phones if we bring them. But as far as day to day, we're going to be there. Scheduled for like 18 plus hours or so. So I'm going to kind of film some of the stuff that we're going to be doing. You're not going to see people walking around looking at their phones all the time because there's no connection. They might be playing a couple video games or whatever on their phone if they're not internet based. But even my Clash of Clans, I'm not going to be able to play over there because there's no internet. So I'm going to do some filming and documenting. Maybe a couple interviews of locals, maybe, and kind of get all this together and put it in some kind of a format for you guys. Hopefully next week, I'll be sending this to you guys so you can kind of see, or the realization that, these places that don't have internet, and we've been talking about what do, you always take this for granted, having the internet and having your device with you and always, walking around looking at it. So what are we going to do? I mean, we got an ocean there, we've got snorkeling and kayaking and actual stuff you can do outside. So I want to see what everybody does. If they just sit around and watch the one TV show or one channel TV show. So that's what I owe you guys for next week. I'm going to do that for you. Like I said, hopefully I'll get it to you guys next week. So let's talk a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to talk forever today. Let's talk a little bit about the readings for this week. So a different kind of digital generation gap, and the flight from conversation. So the flight from conversation by Cheryl Turkle was some interesting reading. It was a little bit doom and gloom for me, but she had some good points about where we're going and everything, and basically how conversation's kind of dying, and we rather talk to our phones now. It's a game for me to talk to Siri and see if I can get her mad. For some reason, she doesn't get mad. She just calls me rude. Was talking about the AI experience and everything else, but I didn't agree with everything she said. But I did like the one thing right at the end, and I like the way she kind of ended this, if you guys have read it or not yet, but she ended it by saying, so I say look up, look at one another, and let's start the conversation. I do believe there needs to be more conversation face-to-face in this world. I know my son, he doesn't get that much interaction. He's online school. But I don't think it's doom and gloom like she's spelling it out. It's just we're finding different ways to converse. And if you go to a different kind of digital generation gap, where basically the author of this is kind of beating up Cheryl Turkle in her article, she kind of says that. She's talking about the new way we connect and the things we can do. So this is one of the things I liked about this article. If you cruise down, Facebook allows me to maintain relationships with faraway people that otherwise would have evaporated. I think that's true. I'm somewhat of a Facebook junkie. I try not to be. Won't be in Wake, that's for sure. And I'm looking over here at my phone, by the way, because it's got Facebook on it. I have a lot of what I consider relationships with old friends that I probably wouldn't have. I fly quite a bit, so I get to go see these guys, and I kind of keep in touch with them. I was up in Alaska not too long ago. Saw an old Chief Master Sergeant buddy of mine that I, started out the Air Force in, and we met and said hey, and it was just nice. And that's kind of the way I keep Facebook going in the relationships and stuff. And I mean, yeah, I got friends on there that I have no second guesses about. Oh no, don't like that person anymore. Delete kind of thing. But I do believe that Facebook allows us to maintain those relationships. It's all what you make of it, right? And then GChat. Not even sure what that is, but I can GChat every single day with my siblings who live in different states and time zones for free. Uh, yeah, texting. I have relatives in England that I converse with on text quite a bit. I also follow on Facebook. My sister all the time. My wife, when I'm out of town, I'm always texting with her. Um, and of course, my kids over in England and Hawaii. So I've got family everywhere, and I keep in touch, you know, texting them. And it's free. My grandmother and I write each other daily emails instead of her not hearing from me at all. That's another great one. I have friends that I email once in a while, just to say hi, and it's a little bit more personalized than a text. It's more private than Facebook. And I find myself doing that once in a while. The last true pen pal I had was my grandmother in England. I would write her pen and ink probably once a month, and we had that relationship going for probably 10 years before she passed. And that's the last relationship I had with somebody that was on pen and ink. Everything else, a couple friends like I email, keep in touch with, a couple relatives. So I like that aspect of it. Once again, I believe it is what you make of it. So this isn't the doom and gloom. Um, so here's another thing, and I won't go any more over this article. And this is my last thoughts on the whole thing. It is what you make of it. I was sitting there thinking about this and texting at Facebook and too much time on computers and everything else. And I thought to myself, am I keeping up my relationships, my face-to-face relationships, uh, like I'm hoping to, or should be? Do I keep those relationships? And I still do. I'm very close with my sister. I see her all the time. Um, a couple other close friends in the area I see all the time. Uh, just like when I'm on trips, the crew hangs out together for the most part. That's all face to face. We see each other the whole trip, but then we go out and have a couple beers or whatever after, and we stick together, and that's face to face relationship. So I don't think that's dying like some of the doom and gloomers out there are saying. The thing is this, and I don't want to get morbid, but my parting thought to you guys: on my deathbed. I want to know that I have good enough relationships with somebody that I'm sitting there holding their hand, as opposed to sitting there hoping that they retweet me or text me back or ping me on Facebook with crying face because I'm dying. No, I want my close people close to me when that comes. So it's just, think of that what you will, but I think there's a balance. And you just got to find it between technology and actual face-to-face conversations that we have and the relationships we have. So that's it. I will, not sure when I'll be back in town, but like I said, I owe you guys my little documentary on Wake Island and the lack of internet they have, and we'll go from there. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.